Hi there. I'm happy to join you today for Miss Bianchi's drawing class. Today we're going to continue with our theme and we're going to work on fall trees. So we have done the pumpkins, we've done the leaves, we have worked on, quite a few fall projects. And today we are going to work on a tree. And trees tend to be one of those things that people just can't get out of their brain looking a certain way. So I'm going to take you step by step, line by line, how to draw a tree. So what I want to focus on in this particular drawing is I want to make sure that we establish a base. So I'm going to go ahead and create a guideline here for the bottom of my tree. I want to make sure that it doesn't go to the bottom of my page. So I'm going to go ahead and create just a simple line. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be bumpy. It could be whatever. This is just a guideline. This is our ground. This is our ground. I'm going to start with the right side of the tree, and I'm going to take a very organic curvy line. I'm going to start from over here and then go towards the center of my paper, and then just go all the way up. All the way up and keep going because I'm going to create a branch out of that. Looks very organic, looks very tree-like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at a certain point, and I think I will start on right here, the opposite side of my tree trunk. And I'm going to do the similar thing, go towards the center. I'll work my way up, and I'm going to make actually a curve in this direction. Again, using a very organic line. My tree seems to be leaning. That's okay. Okay, now I'm going to start in the center here because this is where I want the tree to break off into certain branches. I'm going to kind of do a parallel line with this outside line here. Create a branch off into the sky right there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go a little bit further into our tree trunk right there. I'm going to go ahead and do another line going on the opposite direction, paralleling this line here. You'll notice my branches are not that thick. And I'm going to get more and more narrow as I go off to the side. There we go. So now we have two really strong branches going off to the sides. We're going to incorporate some other branches. I'm going to go ahead and include a branch a little bit lower, probably about this height. And it's going to be just a nice curve off to the side. Remember, go ahead and be curvy and be bumpy. Trees are very bumpy. I'm going to go ahead and take the other side of this branch and follow this along. I'm going to make this very narrow. I'm going to go off to a point there. That's going to be the end of this particular branch. Now there's going to be some offshoots of this branch, and you can just pretty much start anywhere. Very thin lines. You can go ahead and make sure that they do have some thickness though, and create a parallel line to that line, like that. Seems a little blurry. I hope you guys can see. Let me adjust this for one moment. You know what? One moment. Okay, it was looking a little blurry, so I wanted to clear that up a little bit. Okay, here is the point where I'm going to erase the lines of the branches because I want them to create a look like they are coming directly from the tree. Maybe a little bit right here. And I'm going to continue with some branches coming off of these other larger branches. And just, again, very sporadic, curvy. Give them a little tiny bit of width. And again, up here, little smaller branch this time, going up towards the sky. Give it some width. And again, erasing the lines because we want it to look like it's coming from the actual tree. This up a little bit. See that? I had to cut a little bit of little thin branches off to the side. Sorry for that interruption. We had a little issue with the kitty cat. Okay. Now, I am going to continue creating some branches off to the sides of these larger branches. But remember, these are fall trees, so we're not going to see a whole lot of leaves on them. We're just going to see a lot of thin, bare branches. Okay, and then possibly, I like when the trees are balanced. Another nice thick branch on this side. Give it some thickness at the base and then thin it out. Connecting the branches to the tree by erasing the lines. So we have a really, really nice fall tree. Now we're going to add some leaves to it just to give it some sense that it was once a lively tree. So I'm going to do some very simple leaves. Now these leaves are just two curved lines that meet at a point, and I will start on this side where, you know what, I'm actually going to include one more branch right there and another branch over here. So I'm going to go ahead and create these leaves, and they are, let me show you a large version of the leaf. So this is the leaf shape that I'm going to create. Very simple leaves. Okay, so we're going to add those to our tree. Maybe some sprigs. If you notice, I'm adding odd numbers. Typically, when we are doing anything in nature, we do groupings in odd numbers. Okay, so there's the leaves on that. I apologize for the leaf blower, if you guys can hear that. Using the same design, adding, or the same concept, I should say, adding branches. You can continue adding branches wherever you want. Okay, I think I fixed it. Now that looks so much better. Cleaned my lens. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to just keep adding some leaves. I'm going to add a little bit of flare. Okay, so I've got some leaves flying in the air as if they're falling off the tree at the moment. We can add some more twigs. We can do variation in the size of these leaves also. Some can be baby leaves. Some can be really big leaves, right? Just keep adding those leaves. You can have some leaves overlap. You want to overlap some of the branches. Makes it a little bit more challenging, but if you're up for the challenge, go for it. You just need to make sure that we erase those lines so the leaves actually do look like they're overlapping. I am going to mute myself when I'm not talking to you so you don't have to hear the leaf blower in the background. Okay, we seem to be doing pretty good. They look really nice. We just have one more branch to go. Okay, so now we have our fall tree. Looks pretty bare. We can go ahead and include some leaves falling down. This one already looks like it's falling down. Looks like it's really large, which means it's in our forefront, right? And we can do a big pile of leaves down here. Now we don't have to really give a lot of detail, but every once in a while, like we can just create this really organic pile here. Like I just did some organic lines, and every once in a while I'm going to throw a leaf in there. So that way it gives the impression that this is a pile of leaves. Get some berries in here. Okay, so we got some leaves down here in a pile falling. Okay, I'm going to erase this one. Looks a little out of place. Erase that. Now I left ghost lines there. So one way to create the illusion that you meant to do that is to draw over them. Some leaves falling. There you go. So this is our fall tree. So let's add some color to our fall tree now. Let's get our browns out. And some greens, possibly even some yellows. Okay, so I now have some wide variety of colors. I've got a light green here, medium green, like a mossy green, and a dark green. Got a light brown and a darker brown and a yellow. We could even incorporate some oranges if we wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the base of my tree brown. We could have had fun using some watercolor pencils too, but I wanted to um, avoid using that all the time for those of us who don't have those at home. So now I just did a really light coat, very little pressure on my pencil to give it a nice light coloring base. Now I'm gonna go right on the edges, a little bit heavy-handed, so I can get that value change to kind of give some volume and curve to our tree. And of course, the underside of our branches are going to be much darker than the top side. They have some shadows, some shading. Very simply, just putting a darker, heavier handed coat where it should be dark on the branch. Nothing magical. Now, since this side is also going to curve around, it's also going to be darker here. If we wanted the tree to look like it had some roots coming in, going into the ground, we could do it darker. One there gives the impression of a root there, possibly here. Now I want to make sure that it doesn't look so obvious where my shading is. So I'm going to try to blend in by going from a darker to a medium pressure on my pencil to a lighter pencil towards the center, the trunk of the tree on both sides. Tree's looking pretty darn good there. No matter how many years I've been drawing, I always sit there and I'm in awe when things start to look like I hope for them to look, right? That's why I love to draw, get that aha moment. Okay. Hey, not so bad. Now we got to continue with our shading up the tree here. And while we're doing this, you should decide, what color do you want your leaves? Are they still somewhat green and they're falling to the ground? Are they turning yellows, oranges? What do those leaves look like in your head? Are they brown? I think our tree is looking pretty good. Okay, before we run out of time, let's figure out what do we want our leaves. What color do we want our leaves? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually start off with some yellows. I'm going to start off with some yellows because I love to layer. Because if we're going to put green on it, then it'll pick up this nice yellow color in. I'm not going to do every single leaf. Don't want to waste your time. Just going to give you an idea of what the leaves are going to look like. Okay. You can finish on your own. Kind of putting some color in these leaves, especially the ones down here that have fallen. I've got some yellow in these leaves. Like I said, I'm not going to do every single one for you. I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I think this is too bright. Not a fan of that one right now. I'm going to color over these. A little bit of green. I did not get out my. Oh, and then I'll do some green that didn't have any yellow. Thinking of my oranges. I love teaching trees because a lot of my students can't get over that trees are not those sticks with just a puffy ball at the top, right? They're very organic. They have very curved lines. They're not a big puff at the top. And I'm going kind of fast here, although this does lend itself to kind of go speedy. Let's add some oranges, shall we? Add some oranges to our leaves because this is fall and our leaves are miraculous. And I always tell my students there's no greater artist than Mother Nature. What type of being can possibly turn green into orange? It's not possible in the real world, right? So Mother Nature is quite the artist. I'm going to go ahead and do some of those things I haven't touched yet. Put some oranges in there. I said I wasn't going to color all the leaves. I'm like, if I'm coloring all the leaves, can't help myself. No, we didn't put any green in there down here. Some green. Tiny bit of green. Just kind of give this a green tinge, as if this is a pile of leaves that have fallen. Put some brown down there too, because if they've fallen, that means that they have turned. Compost time. You know what I love adding red to my leaves. I think that's so beautiful. And if any of you have ever gone to any type of a state that has real fall colors, you'll see that there is red in them. Just add red, a little bit of tinge of red. Love those. Oops, kind of went off the orange there. Run out of oopsie every once in a while. So as we continue finishing up our leaves here, I just want to remind you that these leaves can be any color you want them to be. This is your tree. We can actually even turn this into a spring tree. Maybe we'll do this in the spring. Okay. We can add some blossoms to it. This is our fall tree. The leaves are changing. There's something about layering colors that I just love. Okay, now I'm going to include some browns. You know, maybe even dark browns. So before we go, I want to finish off this tree by putting a nice thin line around it with a darker brown, like a finishing touch. Good. Okay, so it looks like almost out of time. I want you to just enjoy your tree, enjoy the leaves, make some more branches if you want. Create some knots in the tree. Work with your value changes with this darker color. Whatever you want to do, make it your own. Okay, I think I need to say goodbye for today, but I hope you enjoyed drawing our tree together. I'm going to give you a nice complete picture of our tree. I think it looks pretty darn good, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Continue following me. We're going to keep working towards our Thanksgiving celebrations, and possibly we'll see those in our drawings. I never know what I'm going to draw until I draw it. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic week.